The wonderful truth is that God has a back catalogue of 4,000 years of dealing with people like you and me. I love the Old Testament. Well, if I'm honest, there are bits I do struggle with, but I like to focus on the people and how God deals with them. Take Abraham, for instance. Here's a man who was successful, respected. He was living a comfortable life with a beautiful, loving wife in a sophisticated city of learning, the arts, innovation and wealth. And yet somewhere he's still struggling with an emptiness and a heartache caused by a childlessness which strikes at the very core of his identity and legacy. It must have caused him to ask those profound questions of life, the universe and everything, even though he probably didn't have a clue where to start. And the God who loves it when we begin to ask questions like that starts to reveal himself. And this must have overwhelmed Abraham. It must have both excited and confused him. After all, a tradition of faith had been lost generations before, and God would have been just an unknown quantity to him. So he struggles and he starts as he tries to make sense of God, of what he's saying, and what does that actually mean for his life. And in the process, of course, nothing changes that much. In fact, he's still childless. And if anything, his weaknesses and frailties are not just there, but the more he gets to know God, the more he goes on, the more those vulnerabilities are exposed and the worse it seems to get. You know, his family are hurt in the process as he tries to work out his faith, and his decision making at best, I would say, is poor. And I'm being pretty charitable when I say that. And to make matters even worse, the icing on the cake is that the God he's trying to discover doesn't help that much. In fact, much of the time he doesn't seem to be present at all. And chaos just results again and again and again. And yet, somehow, things do work out. In fact, they work out really well. God becomes more and more real to him. And as he does, the gaps in his life begin to be filled. Okay, so he still messes up. He fails his wife again, and just maybe when she dies, they were estranged, perhaps separated, and oh boy, the grief of that must have been unbearable. He struggles with his kids, his wider family too, and yet right at the end of his life, despite all his humanity, all his failings, all that mess, God is still able to use him profoundly to put a marker in the sand for all of history. That really resonates with me. I mean, it's just amazing. It brings hope into disappointment, redemption into loss, healing into the broken, complicated relationships, forgiveness for those decisions I've made and I cringe over. And that's why I'd love to explore more the story of Abraham with you. Obviously, I don't know your story. I don't know what you're going through, but the wonderful truth is that God has a back catalogue of 4,000 years of dealing with people like you and me. And it's supremely seen in how he dealt with Abraham, who, for all his imperfect humanity, he was able to use. And I believe that's possible for you as it is for me. And I'd love to explore that with you. My name's Colin Piper, and I'll see you soon.